The following is a presentation of iRacing on PTR TV. We'd like to thank all of our channel partners for their support. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and we hope you enjoy today's broadcast. Thunder Valley, Bristol, Tennessee. 36 degrees of banking, now down to 30 with progressive banking, but a track with 15-second laps, high speed, tons of action, and high tempers is usually the name of the game. What will happen tonight as we have 200 laps here on the table? Well, you'll have to stay tuned and find out all the answers. Welcome everybody to PTR TV for today's covered Sim500 Cook's Landscape Group Cup Series here round number 9 at Bristol for what will be 200 laps around the famed half mile. A little bit different name in the booth, but if you watch the channel, you've heard my name before. Corey Silva in the booth and in the production truck. Kevin England here to help me with the color commentary. Brad just got married, so give him the congrats that he just ended his life there by signing it over to a woman. All jokes aside, but Kevin, you've been covering these guys all season. There's definitely been some good racing. There's definitely been a little bit of hiccups. I know we get some rule changes here tonight, but we're coming to a very, very difficult short track.
Yeah, really the story of the week is 6 race wins in 8 races. Is tonight the night someone else inserts their name into the story for the Cooks Cup Championship? David Schildhouse been on a tear, fast here in practice, sitting P1 on the practice board, and I have to say, I don't know what to make of tonight's race. I love this racetrack. It's challenging. It is one of those racetracks where you have to be up on the wheel the entire race. We're going to see how it shakes out here tonight. It could be very physical, or it could run green for long stretches. Nobody knows really what we're going to see.
Of course, we'll see what happens. And of course, if you haven't done so, like, share, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Let's have some fun and chat. The year 1,600 subscribers on the channel. Need a little bit more help from you to get there. But of course, Kevin, in the real world here at Bristol, we got a lot of sticky glue on the bottom. They call it PJ1. That kind of allows you to rip the bottom here, even though we have that progressive banking. But here on the iRacing service, in my experience, I did run an Xfinity race here last week. I find that you can really kind of pick and choose your battles. You'll see guys ripping the fence, but you could also rip right on that yellow line if you have the patience and discipline to do so. So, in your experience, where do you think these guys are going to be finding the most speed here tonight?
I think we're going to see him ripping the lip. I do believe the top line's going to be the place to go. In turns 1 and 2, you'll drive down in there and run the fence. Turns 3 and 4, you'll drive in high and turn down to the front straightaway. They're going to use every inch of the banking here. Certainly for the restarts, it's side by side. You're stuck down there on the bottom, and what you really need to do is take care of that right front tire. It is a setup that tends to lean towards a push, which wears the right side, and you cannot get the car to turn.
Yeah, I've noticed that myself. You can kind of change how you wear your tires here, depending on what line you run. If you run the top, usually you wear the right rear. If you run the bottom, usually you rip the right front off. So sometimes if you do a little bit of a mixture of the two, you can make yourself a good lap here. Here's Mark Jorgensen here, qualifying, going to come in hot and heavy here with these 15-second laps. Well, apparently 14-second laps, 14:62 there for Mr. Mark Jorgensen.
Yeah, mid-14 laps should take the pole here tonight. Jorgensen's been on a good run lately, just trying to get himself sorted out as Pedro Mojica in tonight, our past champion, making an appearance. I think it's a rare appearance. We don't see him very much. Justin Fuller, this is his type of racetrack. He is an aggressive driver, is always leaning hard on the car, and that pays dividends here at the Bristol Motor Speedway.
There's Kyle Trudell putting in a time P11. Randy Yoakum on circuit. He must have had a bad outlap because he is parking the binders here. Still haven't seen the madman himself, David Schildhaus, the winning 6 out of 8 driver. Still have yet to see him pull out of the pits. He may be going for that last second lap, maybe trying to get the prime track conditions. But look at the board there, Kevin. We have a dead tie on the top of the board here, a 15.547. Of course, iRacing does go down to the 10,000s. They don't show us that, but dead equal for the pole. Don't see that too very often.
Yeah, and actually they're a thousandth apart. Jose Gonzalez 14.546 to a 14.547 for Justin Fuller. Bentley Glazer currently sits P3 as we see Jimmy Coleman out taking his lap. Yeah, we'll see where this is going to go. His Schildhaus has not made his appearance yet that I know of.
He's just pulling off out of the pits now. Pulling out of the pits, going to go dive down the banking here, get the most amount of speed to start. Where is he going to go? He's going to put himself right there in the middle of the Bristol Motor Speedway. Not high, not middle, bottom, right in the middle. And let's see what he can muster on lap number 1. 5.46 is the pole. He will be a... No, not the pole for him. He's going to be down in about 10th.
Yeah, 6:33 right now, chasing a 5:46, rolling through the middle of the corner, powers up off the back straightaway there, crosses the line.
Wait, is that a tie? Who's going to get it?
4.5.
So your timing...
1,000, a 15.545 to a 15.546. He's going to bump Jose Gonzalez to the outside pole.
Your timing is generous. He gives you 1,000th of a second than I get here.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, but if you put that on a ruler, that would be upwards of, what, maybe an inch here on a distance that small. Here's Anthony Savignano. I'm probably butchering that royally, but the 99 car with the big American Eagle Red Bull on the side. Let's see what he can muster. One of the last to qualify here.
Yeah, raced with Anthony last night in an NIS race. He led a good majority of it and then pitted late after, got a little loose off the corner. Rode his way back to 3rd, and he knows how to get around this racetrack.
Yeah, well, obviously, pitting will be something to consider here with 3 sets of Goodyears on the pits. We'll go over that in our grid talk there. But in terms of the tires here, Kevin, 3 sets of Goodyears over 200 laps, I believe I saw. What's the fall off going to be, and how urgent are you going to be to peel off in the pits if a caution comes out to get some new tires?
Yeah, these guys are going to look at 200 laps and say, I'm going to break that into the segments and figure out what's the distance I need. I don't think they have any wiggle room to save. And when it comes time to getting fresh tires, you get to that division of how many sets to 200 laps. You're going to pull in and get them. Fresh tires is a big advantage here. So you're going to have to take care of your stuff. That's the way it's going to work. If we see a lot of cautions, then perhaps tire wear won't be that big of a factor. Hard to say how it's going to play out here tonight.
Well, we'll see how it does play out. Of course, being Bristol and a field that they're of a pushing 40 cars. All it takes is one mistake, and it can wad up multiple cars, because once this place gets blocked, as we saw in the Xfinity race, you could see a wreck about a quarter of a track ahead, and you still have absolutely no time to evade it. But now we will come to about a 5-minute warm-up session and just kind of go over some of the track details here at Bristol. 100-degree track temp, 2:30 virtual time, and we are racing in virtual basically virtual yesterday's date, April 13th. So that track temp probably going to hover right around 100, if not go up a few degrees, Kevin. That'll take some grip away from these guys.
Yeah, I think once you get out there, you really don't concern yourself with too much about what's out front of the windshield, but it does play a difference in when the shade comes through and cools the track off. I don't know. I think what we saw is the longer the race goes on, I believe the better the grip will be. So we'll see how that plays out. You know, this week, new rule, 2-end park rule. A new policy coming to the league. Any driver deemed responsible for 2 caution-causing incidents during a single event will be asked to park their car for the remainder of the race. They used to. Corey points penalties for this, but now they're just looking to see if they can park some of these drivers that are not performing up to speed at any given racetrack.
Yeah, I imagine, because I know the Martinsville race a few weeks ago was rather, dare I say, less than stellar, according to the statistics list there. So admin saying, oh, we cannot replicate that. Let's put a couple new rules in place. Rules that, if you are an iRacing, regular per se, rules that do function well in other series. So hopefully that does keeps things in check. As you said, some of the guys maybe who didn't get their practice in and may have a couple issues. They won't vendetta the entire field here, but looks as though these guys are not taken to the grid here, not taken to the track for warm-up, so everyone is warmed up. Maybe they're getting their bathroom break, their last second bottle of Gatorade here, but 200 laps, if it runs green, Kevin, 200 laps at Bristol, that's less than an hour's worth of action. We'll see what actually happens once this takes off.
Yeah, it looks like they're having a driver's meeting here. I see the boss man, Joey Jattina, holding court, giving some last-minute instructions about this. One other thing about that park rule is if you know that you caused the caution, you can claim it, and they anticipate that you would go to the back of the field, take an end of longest line, and restart for your role in that. I think we're going to see some cautions in the beginning. I believe drivers are going to have to get used to each other and how they drive into the corner, whether they let off early or charge the corner, whether they drive off fast or wait to get on the throttle till they're on the front stretch. So, when you put everybody nose to tail in those conditions, you tend to see a little bouncing off of each other. But I also believe that if we can get to a 10-lap stint, we're going to see long green flag runs and the cars spread out, and we'll see a conveyor belt race.
Who is that is prematurely trying to win this race? I saw somebody parked in the new victory lane. Of course, if you're relatively new to iRacing, you're watching this on behalf of a family member, iRacing just did a multitude of updates in the past build about a month or so ago. One of those updates meant beautifying this Bristol Motor Speedway, bringing it up to new graphical standards. And one of the cool things that went along with that is you could actually drive up the ramp into Victory Circle here. So that'll be something maybe the winner will do that has never been done in Sim500. So actually get that victory shot. I saw somebody park there, but couldn't quite make out who it was.
Hey, this track looks beautiful too when you race it, the way the grandstand's surrounded. When you go there, it's a mecca place to attend a race, and it's just as fun to go out there and pull out on the track and run and challenge the concrete.
Concrete also another point of contention here, depending on which side of the plate you're on. I know guys such as Dale Jr. who says, rip it up, put some asphalt down. And I've actually heard that quite a bit more as of late. Of course, this new Bristol configuration, pushing 20 years old now, believe it or not. So who's to say what's in the future for it? Some people love the concrete. Some are saying, no, let's rip it up and put the blacktop back down.
I thought the race on Sunday was a little more toward the classic side. They were down on the bottom, running the PJ1 or the grip strip. But once it wore off with the temperature and the tire wear, we saw drivers up on the top, and I thought that was a pretty fascinating race. And here, you're going to go in, and a lot of drivers are going to adjust their brake bias, change their brake master cylinders and such to try and squeeze that brake down so that the car doesn't lock up, but they can drive in really aggressively into the 24 to 30 degree banking and do whatever they can to carry the speed off to the next straightaway. It's really disorienting to race this racetrack, but it is a blast. You have to be on your toes the entire 200 laps.
Well, especially if pit stops come into play. We see drivers entering the wrong pits all the time here at Bristol, so hopefully that doesn't come into play here. But let's go over our PTR TV starting lineup here. I'll go over the top 10 and we'll let you read off the rest there. Kevin, we got David Schildhouse, surprise to nobody. Got that pole by 1/1000th of a second over Jose Gonzalez. Third place we'll find Justin Fuller, and Bentley Glazer going to be in the fourth spot. Fifth we will find Tyler Dalton, Brad's not brother, and then Patrick Colby out of Montgomery, Alabama, going to be in the sixth position. Seventh, we will find Brian Macklin, and then Mark Jorgensen Jr. in eighth. Rounding out our top 10, Trey Edson, and then Pedro Mojica. I think probably got that wrong, but I think you said a former champion there in 10th.
Yep, 11th is the 6 of Thomas George to his outside Nelson Rivera in the number 22. 13th starting spot tonight for Glenn Campbell in the 44. Anthony Calantoni, New Jersey, starts 14th. 15th, Cody Harris in the 95. Outside is Kyle Trudeau, coming off a great run last week in the 7. Joe Hudson in the 49 starts 17th with Robert Friery III out of New York, starting outside row 10, 20th starting spot for the number 77. It's Bobby Wetzel and Chad Coleman in the 10th row. 20th starting spot for Chad Coleman in the 38. Eric Arnold and Randy Yoakum make up row 11. Anthony Savignano, Joey Jattina, 23rd and 24th tonight. 25th starting spot for EJ O'Rourke. Charles Woods in the 98 starts 26.
And we'll
27 starting.
Sorry to cut you off there, Kevin. I think we're just going to let these scroll by because Bristol being so short, I don't know if we're going to get through these in the rest of the pace lap here. So we'll just let these roll. We got 38 guys here today, and we are already on 1 to green here at Bristol.
Yeah, so it'll be up to Schildhouse and Jose Gonzalez. Justin Fuller, Bentley Glazer, your top 2 rows. Going to watch that left-hand turn from the pace car to set him free for 200 laps as Brian Workman starting shotgun on the field in the number 74. 38 drivers making the call here tonight at Bristol.
Exactly that, and we'll see what happens here at Thunder Valley for 200 laps. Will it be a clean and green race similar to the Cup Series, or will this be a slam and jam show similar to what we saw at Martinsville? I guess we'll find out together. Pace car is in. Barney has the flag in hand, and he's waving it. Sim500 green flag here at Bristol.
2 by 2 by 2 by 2, all the way stacked through the field to the backstretch for the first time. Schildhouse down low, challenge on the outside. Here comes the Goya machine of Gonzalez. Who's going to lead lap number 1? I think it is Gonzalez in the 26. Their battles all the way through the field until we settle it out. It is from the high side. Jose Gonzalez taking the early lead here tonight at Bristol.
And we'll see what lines are in play. I know you predicted that they'd be running up on the fence there, Kevin, and seems so far that more people are migrating to the bottom of the track. Maybe that'll come in time with the tires wearing side by side. Has fizzled out, but we find that with Calantoni and Thomas George running the Mark Martin scheme. And look at the 84, try to get the momentum built up on the fence.
Yeah, I think they'll run the bottom early, and then as the tire wear starts to kick in, they will move up to the racetrack and use all they can to drive down the banking. We see single file out through about the 10th position. You get back into that scrum of 10th to 15th. There's side-by-side runs there with Pedro Mojica down underneath. Pedro in tonight for Kevin DeBrown. He is running the number 93, past champion. What a good guy to have step in your car if you're going to take a night off.
It's the number 81, a Trey Edson, a name that if you follow the channel, you'll recognize him from the area iRacing series that we cover. He races in them, and he also a Sim500 driver. He's looking to the inside of that 84. Not to be had, but the 84, here he goes, trying to wrap the outside, get that speed rolling to the outside of Jorgensen. So he is in the top 10, and this will maybe see some of these other drivers take note of that. But up front, Mr. Jose Gonzalez, 1 second lead in 8 laps at Bristol. My Lieta.
Yeah, Gonzalez out fast. Wonder if he's burning those tires off, but he's got the speed and the clean air, and he's able to pick and choose how he wants to navigate the racetrack, and he's doing a fine job of it. Second place right now.
Well, something happened to the 88.
Yeah, see that little slip.
Oh yeah, we'll get it on our PTR TV instant replay here. The 88 of Jorgensen, just praising him, having a solid start to the race, and all by his lonesome. Little kiss to the concrete, but that won't be anything too deterrent for him.
Really fortunate he didn't go down and slap the wall harder. When you hit with that left front, you can bend a toe link, and that car will be junk for the rest of the night. The good news for him, he just gave it a little bit of a kiss, and it seems to be okay for him as this battle for second place heating up a little bit. The Cooks number 51 of Justin Fuller right there on the tailgate of the number 20 of Schildhouse is right behind him. Bentley Glazer still hanging tough, and I want to see Tyler Dalton. I know Tyler loves to lead a lap. He's hanging right there in 5th place.
A little bit of a wiggle there from Fuller there off of 4 and still holding in the tracks there of Schildhaus. But and it brings up a good point because 2 seconds now. So he's Gonzalez is up almost 0.2 of a second a lap here. So he is already catching the back of the field. So he is clearly, I would say, going for the caution strategy that this is not going to run green and we're going to need to pit maybe in thirds, because if this goes green, we'll see if that advantage can sustain.
Yeah, running high 14-second laps, which is kind of hole in the mail around here. But if you get the rhythm going, you can run 14.9s for quite some time. A 14.79 or 9.79 for Jose last time by, and that 26 is on a rail right now as we got one down against the inside fence over in turn number 1. That's the 0.4 of
Doug Sigmund.
Doug Sigmund slid off and caught the wall there.
Check this out on our replay. He is in turn 3 and 4, and turn 4 seems to be the squiggly place here, the wiggly squiggly corner, because second guy in a row to have a very, very similar contact.
Yeah, one of the rules of thumb of this racetrack is you are so tempted to want to get on the gas when you roll up out of the corner, but a lot of drivers will tell you the fast way around here is don't mash the throttle until you're straight on the straightaway. If you try to squeeze a little something coming up out of the corner, it will do what we just saw, and you'll end up steering right to go left.
And in the words of whoever said that in cars, not always applicable here. We are not on the dirt configuration of Bristol, which, based on what we saw yesterday, some people might be asking for it back here. But the 95 of Cody Harris, he was trying to. We will pause that thought because we are under yellow.
Ooh, we got a pile up over here.
DeAndre Kane is stopped in the center of 1 and 2. That is less than ideal.
Jason Pick around over there. The 8 of.
They were wadded up already. And he just drove right into it.
Yeah. Ouch.
All right, so there's the 9, the 53. Who did what wrong here? The 8. The 8 just took a right hook. Randy Yoakum. I'll have to get one more look at that.
Yeah, looks like he tried to do his best to stay off of.
Yeah, there was contact made with Yoakum in the 98 car.
The 98, and unfortunately unable to do that.
Yeah, that put Yoakum into a brilliant no-chance position, but the very confusing part was that super late contact there from DeAndre. But all for naught, that'll put us under yellow for the first time here today, and a little bit too early in the race to want to put one of those sets of Goodyears on, because remember, here on the iRacing service, once you put a set of Goodyears on, you can't put that other set back on. That set is essentially garbage. So, as most people don't want to burn it yet, we'll stay on track. And were there any takers? I'm just scrolling back here on my telemetry. Outside of damage, and it doesn't appear it. Actually, a couple takers back there, 28th on back, but that may be damage related. See, that's 17.
Yeah, I was just looking at DeAndre. I think DeAndre thought he was going to be able to turn low and then got a little nervous about the car sliding down and taking his lane away, and at the last moment decided to hit the brakes, and unfortunately when you lock them up, you're going to slide right into it.
Exactly that. Is again, if you saw the Xfinity race, was it Brandon Poole? His spotter was calling out bottom, and just he was running the top, and he couldn't go down 4 lanes in about effectively an eighth of a mile. So, it happens here at Thunder Valley, but I believe we'll probably go 1 degree, and the cautions do tend to be pretty short these days. And yeah, indeed the case here. So we'll go into the double up, stack up formation. Schildhaus will be on the bottom behind our race leader, and it looks as though Fuller did take second. So we'll see if Fuller can get a good jump from the outside lane.
Tires cool off just a touch. It brings them back, gives them a little more responsiveness under these cautions. Although we'll see whether the 26 can still hold serve as he rolls around pace car just about to make the left-hand turn, give the field to Gonzalez and Fuller. Barney looks him over, and he's going to drop him as they go through the Geico restart zone. Good jump for Gonzalez. He's down and away. He's going to lead him back into turn one, into the back straightaway.
Looked as though Tyler Dalton in the 19 really struggled there, but someone who's not struggling is that 51 of Fuller, who's going full send round the outside, and Jose Gonzalez goes from 3 seconds up to second place, all in the mix of one restart. And we'll see if that 26 can get on back by, or maybe that dirty air will kind of segment a little bit of that speed he had. We'll find out, but here he goes, trying to get her right back on the outside.
Yeah, we see a mix of bottom feeders and high side drivers right now, as everybody's still kind of side by side. Restarts provide the opportunity. Fuller, full send right now. That has got to make you nervous when you're on the high side. You see somebody flat sideways.
Yeah, the league sponsor car trying to get its time up front here, but Gonzalez said, I have space. I'm sticking in the space whether you give it to me or not, and it does work out. They gave each other just enough real estate, and I think you said Fuller likes to lead a lap. He got that done. And now let's see if the turbojets go on the 26, or maybe Justin could figure something out and stay with him this time around.
Yeah, Gonzalez back out front. One of the things that you do here is you run the high line and you don't even look left. You just come off that corner, know you need to keep yourself up to the outside fence, and trust the car underneath you is going to hold themselves to where they're supposed to be. And in that case, there was a lot of trust, but as these two run nose to tail for the front, here comes Schildhouse into the battle. Is out back. It's side by side all the way through. Schildhouse right to the back bumper of Fuller, looking to see if he can take over second.
Now Schildhouse trying to get second here, and they're still trying to sort themselves out here a little bit further back. Glazer in the Mountain Dew car, and then the Valvoline ride of Thomas George there side by side for that 10th position. And some drivers further back trying to make their headway known here. But up front, I will say, the 51 is not losing touch to Gonzalez, so we're not sure what led to that, absolute NOS boost start of the race, but maybe the heat cycle from that massive push has taken a little bit of grip away from that 26, or maybe Justin has found something in his line by watching and has found some speed.
Yeah, it's so early in this race. We're only 10% in or so, and I think these drivers need to just kind of be careful about the opportunity for a long green flag run. I know we had a quick caution, but everybody's kind of single filed out. There's a couple scrums here and there on the racetrack. I see the 9, Bobby Wetzel back there in that 25th position underneath Mike Montesi there, having a little battle. And then you go back up to, say the 44 of Glenn Campbell. He's got Jason Carlebach in the 60 scraping the fence on his outside on exit of the corner. So there's action all over the racetrack as anticipated the way it races here at Bristol.
Exactly that. Like I said, we don't have physical PJ1 model, but I swear there's something invisible done that makes this place more competitive. So remember, when this place was reconfigured, it was topside only with the progressive banking. 2012 came around and they ground some of that banking down, created kind of 2 levels of banking, but even so, they still needed to do a little bit more to make that bottom competitive. So put some glue down, but iRacing hasn't done that, but you wouldn't know by how this place is racing pretty competitively, and a blast to drive. But here we go up front, scraping the wall quite literally is the 51, and he gets himself the race lead.
That's the way to do it. Just run the high side. Sometimes you'll see these drivers bouncing off the wall. That's to be anticipated.
Yeah, you see on the replay, he drove it into one, and I will say, Kevin, you seem like an iRacing tenured person yourself, and there was a phase here at iRacing where people would hit the wall in the center of 1 and 2 at Bristol on purpose because it actually rotated the car. And I know that's kind of been washed out a little bit, but at certain times, just kind of kissing that wall the right way, that could actually pick you up a 10th.
Yeah, and I find it's still there. You can bounce the car off sometimes when you get in a little hard. As long as you hit it square, you can carry yourself, as we're under caution number 2 here on lap 45.
I haven't found anything glaringly obvious, which is kind of a trend that happens on short tracks. I see Joe Hudson is kind of the most separated from the bunch, so I'm going to take a guess. Perhaps if you have any more...
He was riding around in the back off the pace there, so...
I see some smoke, and then, all right, I'll just let you guys see at home what I'm seeing here. Because I don't see anything glaringly obvious. Oh, what is that? Somebody was slow to the inside, but perhaps it was Stephen Miles? No, it was in front of Stephen Miles.
That's Doug Rolfe.
There we go. Who's
There you
that?
go.
98 went around. That's Charles Woods, and Stephen Miles barely managed to get by. So now that we know, we'll just get a quick perspective of what happened to the 98. We kind of saw a little bit of it, but here it is. Oh, silly Jumbotron, get out of my way. All right, so the Jumbotron didn't want us to see that replay, so bollocks to that. Here we go. Oh, 9-car squeeze went in the gap. The gap really kind of wasn't there. Maybe a Scotian net code, but nice aversion there.
Well, this is the perfect timing for some of these drivers to duck in and get a set of tires. So I suspect that, you know, as we see, everybody's going to go in and get 4 and fuel.
Well, I wouldn't quite say everybody. If we pull up our tracker on our graphic here, you can see the amount of time that these guys have been on the racetrack, and the top 7 did not pit. A couple guys, you know, 1, 2, 3, and then Jimmy Coleman, they have yet to come to the pits in this race thus far, and a couple guys, they pit on a prior caution. So we'll see the 51, how fast he can get through the field, and I can confer that he did, where's my little pit stop graphic here? You can see most of these guys took 4 tires. The only guy who didn't, Joe Hudson, 5-second stop. That's probably just gas only.
Yeah, I have to wonder if Hudson was just riding around out back trying to conserve his car. He was about a half straightaway back from the last car as the leaders were on the front straightaway. As we get ready to go to green, that could be a tire conservation mode, trying to save something for later tonight.
See what happens. Like I said, 3 sets, and there's going to be more than 3 cautions, so you're going to have to decide which caution is warranting of that set of Goodyears. But Jose has managed to get the lead back. Jose Gonzalez, he is a baseball player. And every time, I cannot think of where. I just know that name is from baseball, but someone will fill me in the chat. But Jose getting that lead. Cody Harris in second now, and look at that Cook's Landscape Camry of Justin Fuller on those 4 fresh Goodyears, slicing and dicing. Now he's down to the inside, was 6 2 laps ago, and here he is going for piece 3, ripping around the yellow line.
Yeah, good to see a run for Cody Harris here. His luck has not been very good the last couple of weeks. Multi-time winner next to David Sheldhouse. He's a driver that would love to put another win in the win column. And then 95 looks pretty racy here early on at Bristol.
He's right down to the inside, and a matter of 4 laps or so under green flag conditions. That's all you need to get 50-lap-old tires and pass somebody there. So, and it just makes you wonder, and I think we're safe at this point, Kevin, to say that we're probably not going to run this green, so I think it's safe. But I will say, maybe mid-late race, that's where the risk comes in, because every time you stay out, you just pray that this is not going to be the magic run that goes green, because you don't want to be out on those old tires as soon as these guys decide, yep, we're going to run this to the end.
Yeah, no doubt. You don't want to get yourself in that situation where all of a sudden goes green and you'll end up getting lapped in that situation. So for these guys, I have to say right now, talk about put the coals to it. Fuller and Sheldhouse have broken away from Harris. They've got a pretty decent lead here. Biggest one we've seen tonight, almost 2 seconds over third place.
Oh, 3 wide.
And then it is Mark Jorgensen Jr. and Jose Gonzalez. Another good run for the Californian Kyle Trudell in the 7, sitting in the 6th position right now. And Trey Edson sitting in for Josh Parker in the 81, starting to make a little noise. He's up to 7.
Yeah, this is called Bristol Dega here. Bristago, Daytona Stoll, whatever you want to call it. They were 2-3 wide, slicing through the middle. Fresh tires, trying to get what they can get. And I'll tell you who's the most scared in this mix. That's going to be the 26 of Jose Gonzalez, because if you watch the Cup race at Darlington, a pit call took the guy who dominated the race, took him out of the race. And if he gets pushed in the back too far, or he gets a little bit of damage back here, when you have a car that fast, you absolutely would hate to lose the race purely on a pit call as he hits the wall.
Yeah, I think we're going to see these drivers get a piece of the wall. It looks a little more like Darlington than Darlington here some nights when you run in that high side and you get up into that shadow area. Is side by side back there for about 13th, 14th. Stephen Miles down there on the bottom, the Sim500 24 Camaro. Now he finds a piece of real estate up to the high side, found an open lane right in front of the 7 car of Trudell, but he's under attack from the 44. And you see that often here, Corey. Drivers get side by side, and that brings the driver behind you in. And as soon as something opens up, the driver behind you gets to squirt through.
Exactly that. Traffic is what breaks these short tracks together. You'll have a 3-second lead, you get stuck in traffic, or you just can't navigate. You get bogged down side by side, and just all of a sudden you have a whole conga line forming behind you as some 3 wide forming as one of the slower cars pulls to the inside of the racetrack. I think that is not Brian Wortman, it's DeAndre Kane. We saw him get involved earlier. But up front, Fuller leading by about 0.3 of a second over Schildhouse, and I will say they are just about dead even there on the lap chart. So Schildhouse not gaining, not losing, but you know, he's going for his streak. And he's gonna, I don't think he's led a lap yet, so, but luckily he's got a little over half the race to figure it out.
Yeah, tense moment a moment ago. I saw the number 30 of Brian Macklin come up. He was not clear. I don't know if the driver told him high side or not. Made contact on his right rear quarter panel with another car's left front, but able to clear that out and keep going. He's currently running in the 9th position. Up in front of him, George in the 6 is chasing. It is Savignano who's worked his way into the top 10. I would keep an eye on Anthony Savignano. What we saw from him last night in NIS is that in the long run, he continues to carry speed, running high 14-second, low 15-second bracket, which is what you need to do here to make pace at Bristol.
All right, and if you may be wondering where it was the guy that came out of the gate and got the whole shot here today, the 26 of Jose Gonzalez, who he was a Dodgers player in the 1980s and 1990s. Thank you, Andre, who is not here, but he's watching in chat anyways. He is down to the 20th position, and I think that's DeAndre in the fence behind. He was trying to get out of the way. Well, he got so far out of the way, he put himself in the fence as they're 2-3 wide. But again, that 26 dominating lightning speed relegated, what is he, 11 seconds off the leader, so that's over half a lap down. And again, his whole race basically upside down on that call.
Yeah, the only other driver running the same strategy is Cody Harris. He has 72 laps on his tires, and he is currently in the 12th position, right? So neither one of those guys have gone to pit road yet. Kyle Trudell is in the same situation as is Jimmy Coleman, and I have to say, with the way the race goes green, we might see a spate of yellow flags at the end, and sometimes when you're able to bolt on a fresh set of tires with a handful to go, that makes the difference in your charge. So we'll see whether that plays out, but for right now, boy, you guys, yeah, that's what they want to see, a caution.
That's Cal Antoni in the 84, and Cody Harris, a little bit of contact there. 95 said hello to the safer barrier, and that'll open the door for who is at the 2, Robert Ferrari there. He is going to dive to the inside along with the STP ride. The 43, famous petty colors of Doug Roth, going to get by, and Just one final thought on the 26. Now, we obviously saw him. Now he's 24th, and he's going to be a lap down in no time at all. He's 14 seconds off the lead. But remember, he drove it like a cannon, so he burnt the tires up there. But then he has hit the wall a few times. Makes you wonder the rate he's fallen off compared to the other drivers on the same strat. I wonder if he has damaged that car at all.
Yeah, I mean, he's running high 15-second laps right now. The leaders are running mid-15s, best 14
here,
high.
no, here it is right here. This is Fuller. This is putting Jose one lap behind.
Yeah, there you go. Streaking by.
And then here's, as we've said, here's traffic. Here is Schildhaus. All right, well, what do I do? The 9's up top. Do I bank on the 9, maybe getting some momentum? Do I go up there, or do I follow the 51 down the bottom? This is kind of the name of Bristol. Use traffic to your dismay. Use it to your advantage. And sometimes that's how the passes have to be made.
An interesting dynamic for these drivers. Some of them have spotters, and the spotter can look at how the entire race plays out and determine what the strategy should be. Others, the driver is the spotter. Wow, that was a squeeze job there from the 9 of Bobby Wetzel. That's not going to make Mr. Fuller very happy as he tries to stay on the lead lap.
There's 2 steps to it. You got to stay on the lead lap. And then step 2 is staying the lucky dog car, just in case that yellow flag comes out, because it is much better to be the lucky dog than it is to get a free pass. I would rather a wave around, pardon me. But boss man, Mr. Joey Gattina, he is going to be next on the chopping block. He's racing with Charles Woods. That's going to be the 24th position. Again, we're ripping around this place in about 15 seconds, so being 14 seconds back, that ain't good enough. These laps just go by too quickly. And we get some side-by-side here in the top 10. Jorgensen and Campbell. Jorgensen just about in the fence. Campbell ripping the bottom.
Yeah, Campbell having a pretty decent run in the Transervice number 44. He's working the bottom line to his advantage. Loose up off the corner. That's what happens when you're trying to hold the car down. He's up in the middle, driving through, and gets a good run off. Wants to use all the racetrack that he can. Jorgensen Jr. knows he's down there, being very respectful, just holding his car high. Campbell slips a little bit that time coming up off the corner. And yeah, as you look around here, we started to see a little of that all over the place, Corey. These drivers hustling the car up off the corner, trying to get as much traction as they can.
And I think we got a battle for the lead shaping up here. I saw the gap go less than 1/10 of a second. That's my gimme to say, hey, something's happening here. Looks like Schildhaus is still making that bottom to his fancy here, and he's going to want to make that bottom work because it looks like Fuller might get stuck behind some lap traffic. He didn't quite. But now, again, here's an opportunity for Schildhaus. Do you make the aggressive move and try to force the pass, or do you be patient and, again, just realize it's early, I still got 100 laps to go?
Yeah, Miles bounces off the fence on the outside of your leader, but the leader just continues to soldier on. They move past Cody Harris, the other car, still out there working lap 89, has not pitted, still running what he started this race on, and Fuller able to move by, put Harris one lap down. Schildhaus has to look over there to his right and say, I'm glad you didn't play the strategy the way we did, because it's working to our favor. Hopefully it'll stay that way as he runs down in the middle and clears the 95. Now your leader has a little bit of racetrack, but look at these guys. No, it is tight here for this battle.
Savignano there in the 99. He is racing with Tyler Dalton. Dalton is looking in the middle there. Then you got Trey Edson. He is technically third right now. He is ripping on the bottom of the racetrack. And that's Gonzalez on the top of the racetrack, stopping into the fence there, and then that's Kyle Trudell. They are racing for the 26th, 27th position, and again, we're 2-3 wide here at points, but here we are for the lead again. Schildhaus looked to the bottom, but just doesn't have that momentum. That's what Bristol is. You get the momentum off the top, you get the immediate speed in the time gain on the bottom.
Schildhaus looks low, gets down underneath, has a fender under. He's going to try and get the run up off the straightaway. The momentum comes to the 51 on drive off from the corner. We know that Fuller has struggled quite a bit at keeping the car straight and not burning up his stuff. Schildhaus sitting right there running, being patient, underneath him, not pushing the issue, but it doesn't look like he just has what it takes to get around him at this point.
Now, me as the risky driver who usually screws up from it, I'm saying, hey, the 51 is running middle-ish high. There's a whole lane above him. I can run a little bit higher. I can rip some more momentum, get a run down, and maybe do a slider on the entry of the corner. Maybe that doesn't work, which is why he's not doing it. He's better than I am. But he is dedicated to the inside, and usually, after enough run in the bottom, you will win. You just got to be careful not to burn the right front in the process.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised to see these drivers running the bottom and the middle and not up against the fence. We saw a lot of drivers running the high line and being very successful with it. The track conditions a little bit different than what we raced with, but Schildhouse having a great run down there on the bottom. He's painting that yellow line almost every corner, as they say that. He slides up, and yeah, look at this gaggle of cars coming off. That's where cautions come from, when they're stacked up on top of each other like we see on the screen.
EJ O'Rourke and that blue number 41 Camry. Then behind that, Eric Arnold, the name we haven't spoke of here on the evening. And here we go. I saw it. They were side by side off of 2, and then off of 2. All for naught, but we'll check that battle very quickly. Again, O'Rourke, that's Arnold. That is the 6 of Thomas George. Pedro in the top 10. 31 took a send it move on in there, but nowhere to send it to with the car to your outside.
Yeah, it is hard not to execute that pass and run into the car on your outside. You'd love to be able to swing all the way out to the fence. Speaking out to the fence, Justin Fuller way up to the high side trying to hold off. The pressure continues to mount from Schildhouse in second.
It looked like Schildhouse was going to get a little bit tight through the center of 3 and 4. Had to back off a little bit. Now look at Schildhouse. This is what I think is the move to make. But you have to hope that you time it on a lap where the 51 doesn't run the fence. Try to get that run. Try to get a little bit of a run down the straight to where you can kind of call your shot on a dive bomb in the next corner. But maybe all for naught. I think Fuller kind of knows that's probably the plan, and if you can play the defense, we know how the next gen car works. It's more defense than it is offense sometimes.
Across the halfway mark of this race, running green with only 2 cautions so far on the evening, and this battle for the lead will not go away as they are door to door up off the corner just about every lap. It's only the momentum from the high side that carries Fuller on. Now Schildhouse follows him high. As look at the just stack up of cars here coming off of turn 4 to the front straightaway. Everybody piled up, and what happens sometimes, Corey, is one driver runs a little bit slower than everybody else, and it just creates this logjam that we're seeing.
Yeah, you just can't get by. I mean, even with the grip in different areas, as somebody got really slideways up there. I think that was the 88. You can make different lanes here, but it is hard to pass. So that is something of note here. And something else of note there is there's still a few guys there, Kevin, as we are, again, Daytona, we're 2x2 here at Bristol. There's still a few guys, Jose Gonzalez and a few others, as you can see on the ticker, Kyle Trudell, they have yet to come to pit road. And at some point, I mean, the last thing in the world you want to do is have a green flag stop at Bristol, but it may be imminent, as is a lead change.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, these leaders are coming also to that group we were watching. Schildhouse able to get around finally.
And well, look at the manner that he did it here. Look at that number 51 off turn number 2. Wiggle into the fence, a little bit of damage. Hopefully that right front toe link is towing appropriately there, because we don't want to see that be the final nail in the coffin for the 51. But as I was saying, 111 laps in, some of these guys have yet to pit. Some of these guys are, the majority of them, 64 laps in. You have to think there's going to be a caution, but mathematically, I don't think we can run this whole thing out, so there'll have to be one.
Yeah, and I mean, if you look at this group here, you're looking at 20th position. They're looking in the rearview mirror, and they know the leader is coming. They want to remain on the lead lap. We have 21 cars on the lead lap with Joey Jettina in the back of that stack, and here comes the leader to his back bumper. So These drivers right in front of him are all hustling. They do not want to go a lap down at this point of the race.
Yeah, David Schildhouse, this isn't lap, 197 where he can just putt around and say, yeah, I'll just ride behind these guys. He knows, he got the lead mainly from closing in on traffic and then making the right moves. But now he's double file, guys that want to be on the lead lap, guys that want to be in that free pass position. And he's going to have to exert those tires and, look at him. Now he's stuck behind the 22 of Nelson Rivera. He has nowhere to go. Very, very scary, and you have to proceed with caution without causing a caution.
It's put on a blistering pace, too, as they go across the start-finish line. Third, Anthony Savignano in the 99. He was out on the back straightaway, so they have a half a track lead at this point. And if I'm Justin Fuller looking at all that traffic up there, I think it's time for me to just settle down, let the car cool off, get the tires back underneath me, and then charge through this traffic and give Schildhouse a little bit of noise.
Yeah, but unfortunately, more cars are getting put in between him and Schildhouse, which is completely opposite of that plan at play here, going into that pack. But Joey Gattina, Chad Coleman. I raced Chad Coleman, oh my god, like 10 years ago in a league. It was yeah, I've been on iRacing since 2008, and there was a league. It was a Thursday night league, I think it was, and me and Chad had some really good races. I think there's broadcasts that are so cringeworthy of but either way, Chad in the 20th position. Our current free pass beneficiary would be Trey Edson there. I was just talking about Trey up in the top 5. I don't know how he's in 17th now. Who is on the chopping block? EJ O'Rourke. He is next on the Schildhouse chopping block and about to be chopped pretty quickly.
Yeah, these drivers are looking at the scoring pylon and seeing Schildhouse go out again one more time to dominate the race. It's unstoppable with 6 race wins in 8 events. Thought maybe this would change things up a little bit, and certainly can't give him the victory here tonight yet, but he is formidable so far, leading here at lap 123 in the laps clicking off quickly. He got underneath cleanly a bunch of those cars that he was trying to get around. He's got a little racetrack in front of him. I see the 95 finally went to pit road. Cody Harris, he had been 122 laps. It just called uncle and went in and got tires. He's going to be 4 laps down because of it, making a green flag pit stop. And the only thing he can hope for is that this thing goes green to the finish.
And remember, that's a talking point we haven't, talked about, is there's 2 different configurations of Bristol. Bristol does work a little bit differently than the real world in the sense that there's 2 pit roads. We do have the single pit road enabled here, to my knowledge, so they have to enter off of 2. You can correct me on that if I'm wrong. But I think they have to enter into, wrap all the way around the track, and exit in, exit into, either way, they got to wrap around the entire track on the apron for the pits. In the real world, they do have the ability under green to pick their own pit and not have to wrap the whole track. Unfortunately, here in iRacing, you don't have that. You have to wrap the whole pits, even under green, which that's easily 3.5, 4 laps probably.
Yeah, and it's painfully slow at 35 miles per hour. The pit boxes are small, and it's difficult to get around here, but, it is what it is. It's the same condition for every single person as right now. What do we see? 15 drivers on the lead lap. Nelson Rivera in the 22 is right in front of your leader, coming off of turn 4. He's the next one. It'll be a Kyle Larson-esque
big wiggle from Schildhouse.
Yeah. If he can get into lapping somewhere around the top 10, is you're going to see some drivers with tires come and go around.
Whoa,
there it is.
Right in front of Schildhouse. Bird's eye view of that. But algorithmically, it's not enough to throw a caution. But we'll see if Rivera gets to the pits cleanly.
Look, the 22 has a toe link broken, possibly.
Yeah,
Do they keep him off of there?
So that's what I'm wondering. Is he going to make it to the pits cleanly? Because that car ain't going to be driving optimally, but Schildhaus had the absolute primetime, no pun view of that one.
He actually got a piece of that. I'm pretty sure he made contact with the 22, spun across in front of him.
Let's see here.
This was set up with the 95.
Oh, yeah, he did. Absolutely.
The 95 on new tires is a rocket ship and just came in and misjudged the speed going down in the corner, tagged the 22. That's a huge hit for Nelson Rivera.
From that perspective, it did look like I think from that perspective, it looks like he lucked out and got clean and green through it. But there was one perspective, maybe a little internet net code came into play. But either way, Schildhaus Code Brown, Amazon Briefs, next day air cassette was certainly not what he wanted to see. But as you said, that is the fresh tires. Look at the fall off there, Kevin. 1.4 seconds in my rudimentary map there.
Yeah, and for Cody Harris, you got to make hay while the sun is shining. For him with those new tires, he has got to do the best he can as the 22 on pit road, getting service. That car is pretty wounded.
Yeah, he's back out. You can see that right front, and typically once, I mean, I think you can, I don't know if can you fix a toe link on iRacing. I know you can make it better, but it's probably going to take minutes on minutes to do that, and you don't have minutes on minutes in the pits.
Repair, but it can be done. It's the 26 of Jose Gonzalez, finally called uncle, and he's on pit road right now heading for his box.
Yeah, just a tragic chain of events, because remember he pulled out to a 3-4 second lead in the opening laps, and then all of a sudden here he is in potato mode, and race over. And I called it. It's very rare that I say something that actually happens, but you never know when that long green stint's going to be, and you don't want to be on a bad set of tires when that stint happens. And unfortunately, he chose to stay out. And then when he chose to stay out, they decided to stop wrecking.
And now we have the recipe for something to happen here. We see cars on tires. We see cars struggling, running, 95 laps on a run. And the speed differential is going to cause some near misses, as I just saw Cody Harris having to jump on the brakes to prevent from running over your third place driver.
Look at Jose.
When he pulled past, the thing just flies.
Now let me ask you this here, Kevin. So the laps clicking down, 50 laps at Bristol is literally 15 minutes of actual on-track action. You don't want to pit too early at risk of a caution, but the later you pit, the less time you have to utilize those Goodyear Eagles. So that being said, when do you pull the trigger? What the number 30 at Macklin says now.
Yeah, I mean, you got to do something that the leaders aren't, but one of the questions you got to have is how far can you go? And you said it before, if you do pit, the bad news for you is you're going to go laps down. So I would stay out as long as I could possibly stay out, hope for a caution, catch it just the right way, but, or run the thing to vapors.
Yeah, and then what happened, the other side of that is if, let's say a driver pits now or 10 laps ago and you pit 25 laps from now, you're giving up a second and a half a lap. You're essentially almost a lap down in what you've given on old tires. So there's certainly things to consider here. And if you're Justin Fuller, who has fallen back a third of a lap, just about 5 seconds, you're going to be having to think about, well, I've lost the race on speed. I've tapped the wall on multiple occasions. Maybe I do want to pit early. But I guarantee if he pits, I wouldn't be surprised if that 20's following him on the next lap.
Yeah, these drivers, they know that as soon as they pit and go in, they'll be on pit road, the caution come out, and it'll screw up their entire race. We saw what happened with Jose Gonzalez not taking tires, and the opposite of that is pitting, and then the yellow comes out, and you find yourself 4 laps down, and you'll never make it up. It is 8 drivers currently on the lead lap, with Joey Jattina running 10th right now, as Mark Jorgensen just won a lap from 9th.
I just caution.
There it is. Yeah, one down on the...
someone pulled off a Larson Homestead.
That is the 95.
31 of Eric Arnold. He was parked into the tire wall, the sand barrier. Oh, what in the world? How did he just break loose like that center of the corner?
I wonder if he was trying to get to pit road.
Well, let's find out here. I think it happened right here. It just broke dead loose on him, and I'm actually shocked that caused the caution. I know the algorithm of what causes a caution on iRacing. I'm actually shocked that triggered it. But either way, we said you don't want to pit early, and case in point, you don't want to pit early. That'll put a lot of guys in the wave around position, and it'll trap a lot of guys one lap down, but at least 9 guys will get to pit here on the lead lap.
I think if you go back and look at the 4 of Mike Montesi and the contact he had with Cody Harris, the 4 was flat sideways, 90 degrees almost in the corner. And I think that is the reason we are under caution.
Let us have a little look-see here, if we can.
Yeah, just contact here.
Oh, yeah.
Pure speed. The 4 came down, didn't realize how fast the 95 was going, and the 95 absolutely killed the wall one more time.
And that's a caution. The Eric Arnold incident, which is kind of a random coincidence there, evidently, but exiting the pits, Schildhaus gets the advantage that he needs, and there goes Fuller. A couple guys coming out ahead of him. Not sure if those are off the lead lap or not, but gives him what he needs. If you're a Fuller fan, it gives him 50 laps, a 50 lap sprint to the end. Doesn't have to worry about that long run. We know he has the short run speed. All he has to do is get the restart of his life and just go full send.
Yeah, I wonder if Fuller's car was damaged at all. You talked about the contact he made with the outside wall.
See what the case is here, as we're already doubled up, stacked up, ready to go racing here. We got a bunch of guys trying to get wave arounds here back of the field. We are at 9 drivers on the lead lap. Joey Gattina is, I think, urgently trying to get where he's supposed to be. Yep, 1 extra lap of yellow here to get everyone sorted with the wave arounds and lucky dogs and all this stuff. Don't want to get unnecessary black flags. Get everyone the time where they need to get in order here, and we'll try this once more.
Yeah, that conversation with the officials telling him that this track is a little bit tricky when you get into caution, especially after a long green flag run, and it looks like they necessitated waving the yellow to get the order straightened out correctly. We're back to 1 to green, as it is the Schildhaus-Fuller combination. 1-2, Glazer and Savignano now with them. Tyler Dalton, Anthony Calantoni, who needs desperately a good run, sitting in 6. Karlovaj, Thomas George, Mark Jorgensen Jr. They are the cars on the lead lap.
Oh no! Into the fence there on the restart on the outside lane with Savignano there, and that cost him some spots. Luckily didn't want up more, as the 6 hard to the wall. That's Thomas George.
Battle for the lead. Here comes Fuller down on the bottom. Charges on the back straightaway. He's going to slide underneath, take all the racetrack he can, coming back up. Well, that was a front straightaway, sorry. And not difficult to get them mixed up. Schildhaus hanging tough as they're door-to-door going down for the lead.
Now, this is the best time that 51's going to have to make the pass. And if he doesn't make it now, not to say he won't be able to make it, but certainly it's harder as these tires age. We know that 20 has that long run speed, and that 51 has that wall speed.
Yeah, got to be careful and take care of the equipment. It's 159 laps in. 40 laps are going to go by in a moment. These guys are going to be on kill all the way through, as Fuller trying to do whatever he can to put the pressure on David Schildhaus and look for a mistake. Schildhaus right now, no, I think he just needs to look out the windshield to keep the right foot on the floor.
And he's doing that. Now he's going up the track. When you go up the track, that Well, it gives you the opportunity to run the bottom, but it also gives that momentum that does make it, objectively harder to pass here. And as I said, defense sometimes in this next gen is more important than defense here. But Fuller knows he doesn't need to save much because, again, we only have less than 10 minutes of green flag action here on tap with 38 laps to go here in the Sim500 Cook's Landscape Group Cup Series here. Schildhaus going, what is it going to be, 7 for 9 there, Kevin, if he can pull this one off?
Yeah.
And it's like, as a driver, I've never been that good. How do you keep yourself motivated every week when you just spank the field? I guess you just go for the win every week and just try to go for utter domination. But he must be having challenges in his head of like, all right, I got to keep going. I got to keep pushing this ante up, even though I win every week.
Yeah, Kevin King won double-digit numbers last year, and I think Schildhaus is motivated to see what he could do to challenge that record. But it's not going to be a gimme look. He's getting pushed down the racetrack basically by the Cook's Landscape number 51 Toyota, as Fuller is just on that back bumper and has not yielded yet.
And just look at the difference between P1 and 2 and P3. These guys have already pulled 1.5 seconds on Bentley Glazer, which 1.5 seconds here at Bristol is basically a straightaway, as you can see here. And we'll go a little bit further back as the gap's stabilizing here. Any other live battles to speak of? That is the 19, Tyler Dalton. He was kissing the fence there. Who's that? Jason Karlovage? Is that vaguely how you say it there? I haven't spoke of him yet, but look at him finding himself in the top 10.
Yeah, these drivers out front, they're running 14.7s, which is qualifying laps at this point of the race at lap 168. So, they are really heads down. But now we're going to get into some cars right in front of them. Schildhaus comes in, and he's got a car sitting in front of him. Will this make a play? He's going to duck down underneath Jason Pick and clear him pretty quickly.
Yeah, to bring the reference is on the table there. The pick was a pick for the 51. Unfortunately, couldn't get around that pick and roll, couldn't get around that screen good enough there. But that's how you try to do it. He was hoping that Schildhaus would get stuck on that outside lane behind the slower car and give him the ability to just wrap the bottom. But something happened to the 51. Did he overuse the tires? He's loose into the fence and losing massive amounts of time.
Yeah, one of the challenges for the 51 for Fuller is that if you're on the back bumper chasing somebody that hard, you're taking the air off the front of the car and you end up grinding that right front tire off. And it is possible that his pursuit has caused some issues for him at trying to keep pace.
We saw him basically go the entire lap sideways, lost it off of 2 or 4, and then lost it on the opposite side of the track. As you said, Kevin, Bristol is not quite symmetrical, but at this speed, it all as well may be here. Can't really tell what's going on. Here's Doug Roth and EJ O'Rourke, 14th and 15th here on the racetrack, having a little bit of a battle there, falling back in line. And it seems as though everyone has kind of found their space here, Kevin. Sometimes, it even happens at the plate tracks. They'll run 2-3 wide all race, and towards the end, everyone kind of finds their space and gets in their rhythm.
Yeah, I don't know if we've seen the end of the yellow flag. I think some of these drivers know that there's a position or two on the table, and they're going to be mounting whatever charge they can to go get a position or two at the end of this. And sometimes that results in a little extracurricular activity. So we'll see if we go green to the finish. Right now, these top two have broken away from third place Bentley Glazer. They have almost a straightaway lead on them as they roll around to the front straightaway. So, from that standpoint, it's a two-car battle at this point. Fuller is looking out of his windshield, and yes, he sees the 20 going away, but he also sees lap traffic up ahead, which is going to present some opportunity for him.
Yes, it is, but the lap traffic, of course, they're going to be fighting for their position, but typically at this point in the race, the lappers know, hey, leaders, let's not ruin the race here. So we'll see how cordial they end up being. Let's go over our race recap here on the evening. 3 cautions for 13 laps here with just about 20 laps to go. Fuller does get the fast lap of the race at a 14.6. So stark difference from our last short track, Kevin, which had 28 cautions and 180 laps. This thing, they whipped some tide on this league. This has been a clean race.
Yeah, and we know now in the beginning of the race they were down on the bottom, especially on the restarts, but right now every single driver is running that high side, running up against the fence, some of them bouncing off the fence. You run wide in till you get to about the Coliseum sign, and then you lift, turn down, and pick up the throttle as soon as the car is straight. And we see drivers scraping the wall every once in a while going up there. They're using the entire length of the racetrack at this juncture.
Now remember, iRacing does model that dynamic track in, so the more you run the bottom, the more it heats up, the more grip it loses here, as we have a battle here, Savignano and Calantoni here. And you can kind of think of that dynamic track almost as the PJ1 wearing off. The bottom has gotten so hot, it's gotten slick, and now you have to kind of put yourself where that grip is, which is on top. And look at them side by side within inches off the corner, staying off of each other, having a fabulous battle here for the 4th spot. Oh, fabulous if they don't wreck each other.
Yeah, these two have a reputation of being like bruisers when it comes to drivers. They are white knuckle drivers, and Calantoni is able to wrestle that away and drive off and get the gap, but I don't think we've seen the last of Anthony Savignano.
Let's see here. He's just, he's running the fence, but look at how much more momentum that 99 has. Off the exit of the corner, there's a little bit of contact. And says, all right, I'm sick of this. Let me go down to the inside. They're going to door tap each other. And I missed that because we were on board, but I don't think it's over yet. Like Chris Daughtry, it's not over. And let's see what happens this time around. 84 tries to go to the bottom of the track. He'll get a little bit loose.
Yeah, Savignano was able to get it up to the center and get the car to turn, drive down the banking, get a little more speed, and that allowed him to get squeak on by is the term. Out behind them, you got the 6 of George. He's getting his rear view full of Tyler Dalton. Dalton drives alongside.
His rear view full of Dalton and his right side full of safer barrier here. 60 of Jason Karlovage there. He's just, where did he start today? Because again, haven't talked about him since the opening starting lineup. 36th up to 8th, and honestly has 2 or 3 spots in his immediate grasp here if he can make some stuff happen. But going back up front again, Fuller with that wall contact. He is in second, and he is Bentley Glazer. I was going to say Bentley was going for a shot at Fuller there, but just about a caution off of the 36 to the 22 there.
Yeah, this long run has not been kind to the 51, and also the 6 of Thomas George seems to be struggling. And look, another pinball for the 22.
Yeah, well, that little dent in the can there of Bentley Glazer's Mountain Dew, but all for naught. Now he's going to try to get Fuller there. But going back up front, the league dominator, as I saw some smoke there, 83 laps, not quite a Larson dominating run here, but a lot of different segments to the race course. Our opening dominator was Jose Gonzalez, but he is now 3 laps down at 25th. Just call at the wrong time and could never quite recover, but we'll see who can muster second here.
Late race charge for Tyler Dalton. He's been able to get up and get around the 84 of Anthony Calantoni, moved Dalton into 5th. He's trying to chase down Anthony Savignano. As I'll tell you, the driver on the move is the 36 of Bentley Glazer. He might be able to reel in Justin Fuller with less than 10 to go. We're now to 5 to go here at Bristol.
Yeah, more than reel in. He's already there. He is already down to the inside of the racetrack. Fuller ripping the fence. And missing the bottom a little bit is the 36, but enough where he can make some momentum here. And just trying to wait for that 51 to make a mistake, trying to get the bite off the bottom here, and might even just be a photo finish to the line, albeit 3 seconds behind our race lead.
Yeah, it feels like if Glazer is trying to be conservative and make sure he doesn't mess up and have a problem, and this is really the battle on the racetrack. Is the 20 of Schildhaus with 3 to go, coming back to 2 to go, is out by a straightaway at this point with nobody in front of him. He just has clear sailing to the finish. We'll keep an eye on who's going to pull away this podium spot.
We'll see here. This Schildhaus just wants us to get right to this white flag here on the front straightaway. Barney has it in hand. Caution will not interrupt the finish of this race. We'll go 0.533 more miles for David Schildhaus, who's won 6 out of 8 races here on the season, a 75% win ratio. Let's raise that a couple more percentage points here today, because he got the lead and he didn't give it back. Schildhaus wins again here at Bristol.
And off of turn 4, it's going to be Fuller to pull in second. He was able to pull ahead by a fender over Bentley Glazer. What a run these two had. They ran literally side by side for the past 6 or 7 laps. And Fuller was able to hang tough, and he comes away with a second place finish.
And then just full kudos to all of these drivers here in Sim 500. 3 cautions in an iRacing Bristol event is absolutely something to speak of here. So great race here, here in the Cook's Landscapes Cup Series, as Schildhaus will burn it down, something he is, let's say he's rather used to at this point in the season.
Yeah, can't take it away from David. He's just been on kill, and you know, there's times when you come in and you have a game plan and you try to execute, and you think to yourself, if it could all go well, I would have a good night. And in the case of David Schildhaus, he has not turned over a bad leaf. I mean, just flawless execution every race, and when you're fast, you have the chance to win, and well, he's just been able to dominate so far this year.
Yes, he has. And another final margin of victory for David is going to be 3.3 seconds over Justin Fuller. Bentley Glazer gets a 3rd here on the evening. Anthony Savignano gets the 4th. Tyler Dalton with a 5th. Jason, he ended up getting himself up to 6th. Great run for that 60 starting in the mid-30s. Calantoni, Thomas George, Mark Jorgensen, and then Robert Freire, a quiet 10th place, albeit first car off the lead lap there, Kevin.
Yeah, Patrick Colby's going to be 11th, Stephen Miles 12th. It'll be Glenn Campbell 13th, 14th tonight for EJ O'Rourke. Joey Jatina soldiers on for a top 15, 16th for Pedro Mojica. Joe Hudson 17th, 18th for Doug Roth. Ron Hollifield, good run, top 20, 19th for Ron in the number 25. Kyle Trudeau and a couple of these other drivers played different strategies, and it didn't play out for Trudeau in the 7th, 20th. 21st for Coleman, 22nd for Macklin. Wetzel is 23rd. Trey Edson brings the 81 home tonight in 24th. 25th is Gonzalez after leading so many laps. Pit strategy bit him in the end. He ends up 2 laps in arrears. The rest of the drivers all multiple laps down and had their troubles. Rivera, Wordman, Stone, Harris, Montesi, Arnold, Jason Pick, Jimmy Coleman, Charles Woods, and it's DeAndre Kane scored 35th here tonight.
Yep, everybody else did not take to the race here, but we'll go ahead and talk to these drivers here after their clean run in here at Bristol. Saw it in the real world, and we had the replication of it here today in Sim, but we'll head right to Victory Circle. And I actually don't have the ability to move people around, Kevin. Do you have the ability to get these guys sorted?
Let's see how I do with this. We'll bring in our 3rd place finisher and see if we can get Bentley in to talk to us. There you go.
All right, starting in 3rd here, Bentley Glazer. You had a fabulous battle there at the end with Justin, who was really falling off, but just couldn't quite get the bite there on that inside lane. What more did you need, and how much fun was that? Because you guys were going at it, man.
That was a lot of fun. Finally, some green flag running at Bristol, so... Yeah, I didn't think I'd get to him, but I did. I was pretty good on the long run tonight, so I was happy with that.
Yeah, pit strategy certainly was a stressor here today. We saw Jose Gonzalez have his race, blown by not pitting, and then it went green for about 150 laps. Where did you stand with that? You don't want to be stuck out there on the old tires, but you don't want to waste a set too early. How did you kind of manage that tonight?
I just kind of copied everybody that was in front of me. I saw Justin go down there, so I was going to copy him.
Exactly. Well, when in doubt, do what the other guys do. I've done that plenty of times before, man. But congrats on a solid podium run here today. Any final words before we let you go?
Thank you guys for broadcasting. Thanks, Sim500, for having me.
All right. Sounds good, my friend. That's our 3rd place finisher. And let's have Kevin sort things out here and see if we can grab Justin and P2.
Yeah, interrupted. Justin Fuller was having a conversation there, but we'll take a moment to talk to our second place finish here tonight. Justin led a lot of laps, and you were in the hunt all night long, and in the end, Schildhouse was able to squirt away. But I would imagine, given how difficult this racetrack is, that you have to be okay with that effort.
I mean, I came into this race with the expectations of, winning. I love this track. Always been so good at it. But it is an updated version. So I kind of came in here with, not super high expectations, but at least running well. But I had a lot of pace. I can't keep the right front tire on the car for whatever reason. I don't know what the deal is. I was just riding and just burn it off. And I got to figure that part out if I want to be able to win these races. So David's on his A game, that's for sure. We gotta figure this out, or we're never gonna win a race, because this is one of the races that I had circled to win.
Yeah, talk about the complexity of the race. You guys were chasing Jose Gonzalez there in the beginning, and he stayed out, and unfortunately the pit strategy went sideways for him, but he had a pretty fast pace in the beginning. Did that influence the way you raced tonight?
Not at all. I knew Jose was burning his tires off, so I knew he would come back. We had that when we all pitted and the handful of those guys stayed out. I didn't really push the car that bad, but when we got in that gaggle of lap traffic, for whatever reason, a light switch just went off, and I was tight. I got super tight. I don't know if it was dirty air or what, but I mean, it's not like David wasn't in dirty air, so I can't really use that as an excuse. I gotta go back and study and figure out what to do with these tires, because if we have long green flag runs like that, I'm not going to be able to compete. Obviously, top 5, top 3 is not bad, but if I want to win a race, I got to be able to figure that out. So nonetheless, I don't know how many yellows we had, but that was a great race. We had almost a 100 lap run. So what a phenomenal job by everybody tonight. That was a great race, and yeah, I don't really know what else to do. I guess I just got to figure something out with this car. I don't like this car. I've never liked this car, and I'm trying to give it an honest chance, and I just can't figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, reflecting on the season, I have to say 3 second place finishes, bridesmaids, of course, to David Schildhouse, and 3 top 5. So it's not like you're not in the hunt every week. It's just a little bit of something I think everybody's missing, trying to chase that 20 car and put on a good performance here tonight. And, maybe you get that tire strategy sorted out, and it'll be that last little push you need to get there. How about it, Justin? You want to give a shout out to anybody here?
Yeah, thanks to Sim500. All the mentioned what to do. Thanks for playing this race, man. Again, great race. Not a lot of yellows, not a lot of wrecking. It was phenomenal to have a race like that with this amount of cars. Thanks to Cook's Landscaping for sponsoring the series. Thanks to you guys for putting on the broadcast. I'll go back and watch it a little bit tomorrow. And thanks to all my teammates at Aftermath Motorsports. And hopefully sooner or later I'll get my voice back completely and be able to actually talk normal. Looking forward to the week off next week. Rebound, and I ain't got to worry about tires at Talladega, so maybe we'll go all out there and try and win there.
Yeah, there you go. Justin Fuller, his second place finish, and we know a first is on the horizon. Congratulations on the podium finish, Justin. Thanks for taking the time to talk to us.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good one.
There you go, Justin Fuller, our second place finisher, and we'll pull up David Schildhouse, who once again pulls down the victory here tonight. Bristol Motor Speedway victory lane, Corey Silva has caught up with your winner, David Schildhouse.
Yeah, my first time covering the league, and I was told, David, that you the man in this league. 6 for 8, you go 7 for 9, but it wasn't all easy. Jose pulled out to like a 3-second lead, and then a furious battle with Justin, and a near incident there with a lap car, man. How you feeling after this one tonight?
Well, hey Corey, good to chat with you. It's an eventful night. I'm sweaty, man. My arms are sore. I'm sweaty, but that's 5 in a row, which is pretty crazy. I would have bet good money, and I'm not really a betting man. I would have bet good money that I didn't win this race tonight to keep the streak going. But I mean, what a fun night overall. Really long green flag run. Green flag pit stops at Bristol. Can we take a moment to appreciate green flag pit stops at Bristol? So shout out to everybody. They really did a great job tonight. Joey Jattina had a great pre-race speech. I think everyone heard it, and you saw the result was a very low caution count in this race. Long green flag run. The tire strategy worked for me and Fuller, and we had ourselves a proper brawl while driving through the field to lap up to like 9th place. And then the harrowing moment with whoever it was, I forget, spinning there in front of me, heart in your throat type of moment. Glad that I missed it. It was this race had everything, and I forgot that you could park in Victory Lane here now in Bristol. Fuller came and told me, go park that thing in Victory Lane. So I did, and we're sitting up here atop the media center. There it is. Look at that. That's beautiful.
Absolutely. So, like you said, that Code Brown moment, we already called the Amazon Prime underwear sent to your house tomorrow night. But and I said this to Bentley. The strategy here was certainly difficult. Jose had you guys beat by 3 seconds. I don't know what he was doing, but he was doing it right. But then he just stayed out, and then everybody else decided to stop wrecking, and then essentially he was all the way out to pasture. How difficult was it with those opening couple cautions of, all right, do I waste the set yet? Do I waste the set yet? What was your mindset in making that strategy decision?
Yeah, I mean, Jose, he was setting sail, and I just had no interest in doing it because we just kept getting green flag lap after green flag lap, and I was like, all right, we're just going to settle in here. Probably going to be a long run. He's going to go yard the field, and we'll probably pull him back in at some point. But the longer we went, the less certain I was of that happening because he was just really fast and really good. So the first opportunity to come and get tires, man, it was that lap 40 whatever caution, and I was sitting there with my spotter, crew chief, coach, therapist, Briar LaPrade, and I said, we're a quarter of the way through this race, man. We got 3 sets of tires in the pits. We got 50 laps out of these bad boys. Let's throw another set on. It just seemed like the right time to do it, not knowing if it was going to stay green or not, and it did, and it worked out really well. But like every time you get one that goes that way where the strategy goes in your favor, like 7 other times it's going to go against you. And I think Fuller would attest to that because he says he's famously bad with tire strategies going his way. So it went our way this time for both of us. We had a whale of a battle, and in the end we got the late caution and said fire 4 more at it. Did a little fuel trick to not fill it up all the way, and I think that was the difference. I think probably Justin filled it up all the way. We didn't fill it up all the way, and the balance difference, the way the car drove, man, once I was done battling him, I mean, you saw it. We pulled away. It was 3.5 seconds, which I didn't even really realize. I was just so locked in to get this thing done and get to the white flag. I look up, and it's a 3.5 second margin of victory. So, oh, my God. We really pulled away. But he was struggling with right front anyways. And, I mean, we all struggled with it, but I guess I just managed it pretty good tonight and surprised myself here at Bristol because I typically don't really do well here, so I'll take it.
Yeah, and he said he's going to the laundry list. He's going to the encyclopedia to learn tire wear because he says he can't figure it out. But luckily, he said, you don't have to worry about tire wear at Dega. And if you're going to go 6 in a row, that's probably the hardest place to put any guarantees on that. But enjoy the off week, man, and we'll see what you can do there at Dega in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And, big thank you, of course, to Splash Go Graphics for the beautiful paint scheme, as always. If you want to get one of your own and look good while you're going fast, make sure you mention my name. They'll give you a nice little discount on your first order. Big thank you to everyone at twitch.tv/Shieldhouse. The children treated to another win here tonight, and they were absolutely loving it, cheering us on, having a good time. Big thank you to Cook's Landscaping Group for supporting the series. Another great race here tonight. So I'm sure they're really happy with that. So we appreciate their support. And of course, you guys at PTR TV, Corey stepping into the booth to replace Brad for tonight. And Kevin, I told Brad that I'm going to try and finish second one of these weeks so I can talk to you. But, Talladega is a crapshoot, of course. 2 for 2 on drafting style racetracks this year. It doesn't seem reasonable that I could win at Talladega, but there is money on the line. And I like winning money. So I plan on being up there by the time that thing gets figured out. But looking forward to the break and appreciate everyone tuning in, man. We'll see y'all in a couple weeks.
Absolutely.
Oh, and of course, a big thank you to, like I said, Briar LaPrade, my spotter, crew chief, coach, therapist, for hanging out and making me really good.
All right, absolutely, my friend. And we'll see what you can do in Dega in 2 weeks. Enjoy the week off.
Thanks, guys. See you then.
All right, so that'll wrap things up here from Bristol. And again, cleanest one of the cleanest races we've ever seen at Bristol. And even though the race was clean and maybe a little unexpected there, not an unexpected result at the top of the board there, Kevin.
Yeah, I mean, look, sometimes you're good, sometimes you're lucky, and sometimes you're damn good and lucky. I look at this season that he's putting together, and the most telling stat beyond all the wins is where he did win, he finished second and fourth. The fact that he's navigated all these races and has not found an ounce of trouble is just a thing of beauty for David Schildhouse, and I'm not wishing ill will on him in any way, but just the flawless execution continues to be the story for me, and I can't imagine how he's going to get away from the trouble at Talladega, because it's Talladega, but we'll see. We'll see if he could do it again.
Can he get 6 in a row on the lottery track? Well, you'll have to stay tuned and find out. Again, make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe, or well, on our mission to 1,600, just need a little bit more help to get there. Make sure you stay tuned for our next broadcast. I think we are actually off the rest of the week. Brad got married. He got most of his leagues off, so I think we're not starting fresh till next week. So you'll stay tuned. Tuesday and Thursday we'll be live with Area. Sim500 taking a week off, I believe, because of the Real Cup week off. So stay tuned to social media, all that fun stuff. You'll find out when we're live next. It's going to be Corey and Kevin signing out of the booth tonight. Have a great night, and we will catch you next time.